Good morning.
Good morning.
There are no apologies received. Motion is going to accept. There's no apologies. We're going to move to electronic link. I've been a request from Councillor Dalton, who is sadly getting over a knee operation, and Councillor Newman, who's disappeared for a while. Move and seconder to accept them, Darby and Fuli. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Carried. While we wait for them to join, a couple of reminders before we start. The meeting is being live webcast. Please be present in the meeting. Ensure your phone is turned off or at least silent. We're doing things a little different today for a number of reasons. The Officer of the Auditor General is here and they only have a limited time, despite they have unlimited costs, but still. The order of the business of the meeting will be items 1, 2 and 3, followed by 15 and 16 with public excluded. We'll do the confidential items C1, 2, 3 and 4. Once that has been completed, we'll reopen to the public. We have our councillors online now, I believe, and the press has been informed that we will be starting in secrecy and told to come along a bit later. Now my heart of mai, it's with much araha and sadness that we have to acknowledge the recent passing of Kaumātua and rangatira Grant Hawke, a much respected leader of Ngāti Whātua Auraki and Tamaki Makaurau. Grant was a rangatira who stood with purpose, determination and resolution when working in the areas of kaitiakitanga, land protest and land settlements, speaking to protect and preserve the environment. Matua Grant stood at the forefront of the advocacy of his people alongside his tuakuna, Joe Hawke, who I knew quite well. Nō reira e ta rangatira e Grant, moi mai i roto i ta tātou ia matua kiore, haerea atu rā ki o tini tupuna matua me nā tini whanonga, haere ki a roto mā, haere atu rā, hure noa kia a toto katoa, te hanga ora ki a tātou, tēnā koutou katoa. Deputy Mayor, would you like to say a few words as the Auraki representative before we stand for a moment's silence?
Thank you, Your Worship. E te rangatira moi mai rā. Pakihana Grant Hawke, or Papa Grant as he was known, was a man to be reckoned with, an aspirational yet realistic, humble and yet unafraid to stand his ground. He knew when to reconcile and when to fight, and always his drive was for better outcomes for his people. His leadership was visible across Tamaki Makaurau, especially in Ōrākei. He was the inaugural chair of the Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei Reserves Board, guiding the guardianship of Takaparawhau following their treaty settlement. He recognised its history, safeguarded its future, and helped shape the enduring partnership with Auckland Council that stands today. The respect he earned across governance, management, and the community over many, many years is immense. But Grant's journey began long before the boardroom. There are stories of him as a boy swimming in the polluted waters of Okahu Bay, playing among the sewage outfall where the local kids would pick up condoms off the beach and catapult them at each other. It was only later, after the heartbreaking loss of cousins to disease, that he saw the danger for what it was. At just 16 years old, he stood before the Auckland Drainage Board and said in plain words, "Get your crap out of the water." That moment set him on a lifelong course for better water quality in our city. From the drains of Auckland to the forums of government, he never stopped challenging, never stopped working to restore the health and land and waters, knowing that they were the lifeblood of his people. Water became his calling and a metaphor and a reflection for the well-being of the people of Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei. Grant's activism was courageous. He was there at Bastion Point, standing with his whānau for 506 days, enduring arrest and imprisonment, not for himself, but for his people and their future. His convictions cost him, but they also forged his mana, giving him a voice heard across marae, councils, conservation boards, and even on the world stage. He could be tough, but his style of leadership was grounded in humility, quiet strength, and respect. Those who knew him well speak of a man who inspired without demanding, who taught by example, who combined Māori and Pākehā perspectives to build bridges where others only saw divides. Grant's legacy will endure in the land and the waters he fought to protect, in the example he set for young leaders, and in the whānau and mokopuna who carry his aspirations forward. He often said he wanted to give his children and grandchildren a better start than he had, and he has. Grant lived a good life, a great life, and through his mahi, his vision, and his araha, his influence will continue to ripple outwards like the waters in Ōkahu Bay. Moi mai rā e te rangatira. Rest well, knowing your people will carry your kaupapa on. Please stand for a minute's silence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Deputy Mayor. Are there any declarations of interest? Confirmation of minutes, mover and seconder, please. Somebody rather. Deputy Mayor and Councillor Sayers. All those in favour, please say aye. We're going to move to items 15 and 16. This is an open process item. The draft report will be adopted later and confidential ahead of the release to the NZX. Tracy, could you just go through the process with us, please?
Tēnā koutou katoa. We finished preparing the annual report and we'll be looking for your approval of it later in the meeting. It's a key accountability document that provides transparency of our performance against our commitments and targets that we set in the LTP. You've all been provided with copies of these documents, which we will discuss in the confidential section of the meeting. Following that, you'll hear from the Auditor General's representatives who've audited the reports. We plan to release the annual report on the, via the NZX website first thing tomorrow morning. And we will notify you once this has happened. Until then, we do ask that you keep confidential any content that wasn't covered in our quarterly performance report, as it's not yet public. I'll take the paper as read and invite any questions.
Questions, so now what? Mover and second of it, that we just note the preparation. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Henderson, in favour, say aye. Contrary, carried forward. Item 16 as well, process to make board appointments to Tamaki Redevelopment Company. James is coming to the front. Inform me about the process. Off you go, James.
Tēnā koutou. Very briefly, the purpose of this report is to provide public information about the process to make an appointment to the board of Tamaki Redevelopment Company, with an appointment recommendation to be considered in the confidential part of this meeting. This is a joint process with central government and is subject to separate approval by them. Thank you.
Your Worship, it's Councillor Newman. I'm happy to move this.
Thank you. I'll second it if they were happy to move it. We'll just note the process. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary?
Aye.
Thank you very much for that. What we'll do is then we'll... right. Now we have to go into secrecy to deal with these things, so do I have a mover and a seconder that the public be excluded? Councillor Fletcher, Councillor Henderson in favour, please say aye. Contrary? Carried. Right, everybody in the room, shut the door.